Hey everybody, I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan with PDQ.com.
You know, it's interesting, Jordan. You know, it doesn't matter what video I do, but if you put with PowerShell on it, I mean, Lex skydives without parachute and PowerShell, people get more excited about it.
As they should. It is the greatest thing around.
Is it now?
Yes.
That and child
You're sounding like Chris right now.
You are sounding like Chris. So we are going to use some logic. We're going to use conditions. We're going to use PowerShell. Yes, we'll use PowerShell to make your packages more dynamic. And should we jump in?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's hop into this.
All right. So one thing I've noticed when I first started doing these webcasts, coming up with content for PowerShell was pretty easy. It was just a whole list of things that I could do.
I can do all kinds of things with PowerShell.
But anymore, when we go to do something with PowerShell, it's more of you can reconfigure it with these conditions, these steps, which is fantastic for the user, not so great for people whose job it is to generate content.
That is true.
That being said, we have a few things that
we have to work. We have to work hard, guys, because like, oh no, we can do that with a filter. We can do that with this. We can do this condition. So we did come up with some good stuff for you.
And mostly what we're finding is things we have to check like live on how it's going, like something like get process.
Oh, a get process. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're doing an install where Edge can't be running, having a PowerShell step that will go and basically see if the process is there, and then from there you can either have it kill the process, or if you don't want to worry about impacting users, report back that process is running, and so you know to run it at a later time.
Oh, okay. And as we're going through this, guys, we have included the big bad GP result PowerShell that Jordan's written in bonus content. So if you want to read along, grab that, and you'll be able to follow along with us. So, okay.
All right. So, and this one, all I have is basically gets the process. If it's not there, it tells you it's not running. If it is running. That's one way.
This is a basic if-then logic, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Just if yes. Oh, there we go. It's just the right host is all I have there.
Okay.
Yes, just basically if it exists, do this, else do this. Also, the right host isn't going to do much for you on the result, but if you did, like if it is running, just come and did like exit 1, then it will exit with the code 1. So if you have on the next step, basically says, or if it, on that one, one is a failure condition, then it would stop there and let you know because it exited with 1.
Okay, and the conditions that we're talking about is any of your steps. We'll just open 7-zip to show you guys. So steps here. If you take a look at step, this step, you could have the condition, or excuse me, the install step. That's the uninstall. Right here, you could have the condition 1 right here, or the lack of a 1, and then your option would be on failure. On failure. Where is my on failure?
I think it was on options. It just was grayed
out.
out.
There we go. There you go. Yeah, there's on error. You would stop deployment with an error, right?
Yep.
Here, let's highlight that because I am never good at using highlighter. There it is. So again, those error codes or the return codes that you're pushing out of PowerShell, you can stop or alter the course of your package.
Yep, and then that's just a good way to, and I know there are some things out there where you can't have certain things. It's just a good way to make sure you're not trampling users that might be actively using something.
Yeah, one sec, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay. All right, yeah, so after that, the other thing we found was do while, which is basically if you're running something, you've installed something, but you're waiting for it to report back, you could basically say do this action until it finds the process or whatever you're looking for. So in this case, we're just saying if there's a remote machine, this one, it would ping Rick until it came back.
Okay, why would you would...
So this is just for the ping one, but in this one, say you installed Chrome, but it had, and then another one kicked it off, but you weren't sure it was running yet.
Okay.
You can there basically say do, and then check for that process, and then while it's not there. And so once it finds the process, it exits out and comes back.
Oh, okay, so
basically it'll keep looking. So instead of having to guess in the time limit or putting in, just static breaks, you can basically say, check for it constantly till it finds it, and then you can put a timeout in there to where if it hits X number of seconds, then it will automatically close for you, say it never showed up.
Okay, let's take a question.
Okay.
Dearly beloved PD Gurus, I want to deploy some registry settings to the Current User Hive. I run the package as logged on user, which works fine. Can I use the username in one of my registry values as well? I want to deploy an XML path in a registry key with the value of C:/blah blah nerd. Thanks, Timo S.
Hey, Timo.
As I understand it, if in this case where you said you're already running as logged on user, that variable is going to expand as the logged on user. So it should work. I haven't tested it out, but as how I understand the product works, that should be just fine for you.
Yeah.
I would definitely test it on a lab machine before you go live with it, though.
And a couple ways to do that. I mean, one, you can write a small file on the machine, see, run it, and see what the logged on user was at the time of the run.
Yeah, so
Verify
basically if you do,
Good.
well, PowerShell who am I would give you the user, but you could actually just put the
That's a good
variable
point.
in there, and it will print out the value there in
Okay.
PowerShell. So
Well, there's a better way to do it than I thought of.
yeah, it shouldn't be difficult to test. I think it should work the way you're hoping. I don't think it should be a huge problem.
Okay.
All right.
So in this case, you just, circle through the do while loop until condition exists, and then you exit and
Yes.
do whatever it is you want. So
Yes,
again,
this one I just verified the number is 0, and then every time, this one just says I, but in this case you did the ping.
Mhm.
Every time it pinged, if it didn't report how you want, then it would just increment,
Mhm.
and then you just have a number where it cuts off where it tries and report back to you. It's just a quick way to do that one. And then
do you have a favorite? If then, do while. I mean, I guess you use them for different purposes, but
so do while is I guess more similar to try catching. and look over at Jason because if I'm wrong, he'll cringe.
no,
No?
his eyebrows went up.
Yeah,
I
it
love
looks like he
that.
agreed with me.
It's like a try catch mixed with a for loop or
Yeah.
like a while loop.
Yeah.
So you can keep doing it until it says, "Oh, this condition's met," and then it'll stop.
Yeah, it's just a nice way to just have a small set of code that will keep testing something until you get what you want,
Okay.
or until you tell it to stop, I guess. Outside of that, the other thing is we have something to find files, but nothing that will tell you what's in the file.
Oh, that's
for a
true. That
condition.
is true. File condition. If
Yep.
this file exists, if this directory exists, you're good to go. But if you wanted something, obviously, from the inside of that file, PowerShell is the way to go.
Yeah. So in this one, I guess there comes a scenario where we're switching over to Chrome, away from any other browsers, but we've already installed Chrome. We're assuming. On all
Okay,
machines.
so here's the background on this. We decided we were going to convert everybody in our lab from any other browser to Chrome.
Yep.
So that's why we wrote this script, and we'll show you the logic for that.
So Chrome's on there. In this case, we built a group policy that will apply all the settings you want. It'll set the home page. It will give them the bookmarks they want. Just everything that they'll need to be up and running.
Pretty much sets everything
Yep.
to pdq.com, doesn't it?
Always, yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That is where all the answers reside. But the problem is, if that policy hasn't applied, we don't want to go and remove all their other browsers yet, just because we want to make sure they have everything they need.
Oh, so you're like nice like that.
Yeah, I don't want to uninstall while they're using a certain product at this time.
If they can't use Chrome, you don't want to nuke them and make them so they have to call you, right?
Exactly.
I like that. I don't want the call either. Okay. That's,
Okay, so all we're doing is we're running a Gpresult for the computer
Okay.
and saving that to a text file, and then opening up that file as a stream reader.
and basically, you just go through each line looking for.
Yeah, so each line it goes through, and first thing it looks for is applied group policy, because that's the start of where the policies begin, and it will continue on until the following GPUs are not applied, which is the next line where it's, so that way we're adding into a variable basically everything that includes the name we're looking for. We're making sure we're not grabbing the wrong value in the not applied section. We only
Okay.
want to get it from the applied.
All right.
So get content would work for this, but if you run measure command against get content and stream reader,
What is the measure command?
measure to tell you how long it took to run.
Oh, okay.
And
All
everything.
right. Yeah.
So if you run that one, stream reader is about 10 times faster than get content.
Ooh, efficiency.
So you don't see it a lot because there's not a lot of big files, but the bigger the file, you're going to get faster results using the stream. And then with the get content, you're going to have to use a different filtering to exclude the data you don't want.
Okay, so you read through it, you find the policy that should be applied, which means it's there, it's good to go.
Yep. In this case, it's the policy is named Chrome settings. It's that line right there. If it ever finds Chrome settings under the applied, then it will create a variable, or the Chrome GPO applied is true. We created that up top. Create up top, and there set it to false by default.
Okay.
That way, if it finds it, it sets it to true, and then otherwise it will.
It will just determine
false, yep.
Now, okay, we run the PowerShell, Gpresult. We find it, we don't find it. To be able to use this in a dynamic setting, we got to do something with it.
Yep.
And because we've already got registry filters and file filters, those are two ways to do it. We decided to put tattoo the registry.
Yep. Before all that, though, we added the finally. This is just basically cleanup.
Okay.
We closed it so we didn't leave an open session for the reader, and then we deleted the file we created just so we're not leaving.
Time out. You don't like leaving files open?
I mean,
I'm just kidding, man.
it depends on who's going to catch me.
It's a good policy when you're done to put the stuff away. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. All right, so after that, we've got down, it's either the result of that is either true or false.
Okay.
So it's going to come down here. The registry path is Fancy Pants, and we're going to name it Cornelius Daniel.
So Fancy Pants, that's like you're channeling little K Chris here, huh?
I spend a lot of time talking to Chris.
It's fancy?
Yeah, and it is a fancy
Okay, now
discussion.
this Cornelius Daniel 1, did you do that so I won't be able to type the result in the thing and I look like an idiot? Or?
That was just a bonus.
That's a bonus.
I'm trying to stick with the Rick and Morty theme, and this is the bug creature
Do
from
me a
when...
favor, copy that to the yeah, whatever that is. Where do you copy stuff to? Oh,
The
man.
clipboard.
Thank you, the clipboard. I was going to say the notepad. Copy that clipboard for me.
All right, and so after that, it's like basically if it's true, it checks to see if Fancy Pants already exists. If not, it builds it.
It builds Fancy Pants. Okay.
Yeah, it builds it, and then it creates the actual value name. If you just have where it just creates the property, but the path isn't there, then it will
now
give
that I
you
think
an
about it,
error.
instead of like true or false, Fancy Pants should be on or off. That's what it should have been. So,
All right, and
sorry, did I derail your train there a little bit?
so if the policy exists, it's 1. If the policy does not exist, it sets it as a 0.
Either you have Fancy Pants
Yep.
or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And as always, Fancy Pants is the preferred.
So
Preferred
when we're
method.
talking Fancy Pants, are we talking the ones that look like you bejeweled the back, you know? Like you're sitting on a bunch of rhinestones or what?
I am the last authority on what would constitute fancy.
Noonan, any
That is
thoughts
a
on
Chris
Fancy
question.
Pants, man?
Fancy pants can be the best pants, depending on who's wearing them, I suppose.
You know, that's a good point. Depending on who's wearing them, it can make any pants a good pair of pants, I guess. I'm not going to touch that. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Let's just add this to a package so we can kind of see it.
Before we do that, are there any other questions that we can answer for you guys?
Dear Lex and Jordan, is it possible when deploying a package to have it go to a dynamic group but exclude another dynamic group? For example, I want to push out a package to all computers except to executives' computers, both of which are dynamic groups. Thanks, Peter G.
Now, I can think of 2 ways to do that. So you want to go to all, okay. You want it to go to,
So
go ahead.
one way would be inventory collection, where you could basically set a collection where basically they're a member of this group, and also a member of the other group, the executive group, or not a member of the executive group.
You could build a dynamic collection
Yeah.
that looks at those 2 dynamic collections. Is part of this, not part of that, and then reference that collection.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
just point to that collection. That's one way to do it, and that way, anything changed in the other dynamic, that one will always stay.
The other way to do it, you could do it at the package level. So if you open up a package, at the package level, you could say, go ahead and deploy this, the package level, to anybody who's part of, you know, the all computers, whatever specific computer group, and then you can go down at your install steps and say, is not a part of the executive group. A little more work, you can do it at each step level, which either way, you're going to come up with the same result.
Okay.
So,
All right.
all right, so we're going to build a package.
Yeah, so I guess in our example, Chrome's installed, we're basically, we're going to,
Well, what we're going to do is this, right? My thought is this. I want to install Chrome because, you know, it's going to be a nested package. We're going to build a nested package. And I want to install Chrome. First, I want to run the PowerShell. I want to install Chrome because this package is going to get updated because it's an auto-download. So I want this to go out, and eventually it will clean everybody up on its own, right?
okay, so the latest
we'll,
Chrome.
We'll install the latest Chrome, and
So the next step is the PowerShell one.
uh-huh. And then, oh, you're going to title it. Nice.
And that's the script you just...
That is
Yeah,
the script
this is the script that I just barely...
It's out in
went over.
Gpresult, yep.
I was confused because I thought we had just only copied and pasted
Cornelius, whatever,
Cornelius
yeah.
Daniel.
Oh, that's a good point. I have overwritten.
Great, well, I'm not typing the okay.
I'll go back and I'll grab it again
It's probably a smart idea.
if I can find it.
Is that
There
like
you
a Rick and Morty thing?
Yes.
Okay, I know we're doing a lot of Rick and Morty. Okay, so we're going to do an uninstall package. We're going to uninstall Firefox,
Okay.
and then we're going to do a uninstall step, another nested
Just
package.
click on step, and then there's the. Here
Nested.
you can also right click to the context menus. There's a few ways to add the steps
Yep.
on that one.
And then we're going to uninstall Opera, and so on and so forth. We could do this for everything else that's out there. I would suggest you leave Internet Explorer and Edge alone. just because they're part of Windows. But so here's the thing we're going to do. Oh, and you know what? We're going to add one more thing. Let us, right after that Google step, let's add a scan step, because I want to make sure the scan is the latest scan, and the scan I want is the application scan. And let's move that up so it is step 2. And the reason being is, you know, let's say a machine had Opera on it today. It got uninstalled. You happen to be there doing it by hand, so inventory didn't get updated, and its regular scans it, not out for a couple of days. It'll end up running this, and it doesn't need to. So this is a good way to just keep your application data on those machines up to date prior to running these steps. So again, that will help make the package more efficient.
Yep.
All right, so let's go and talk about conditions on this. So first, Chrome, let's go make sure that that Chrome step only runs on machines that are a member of Chrome Old.
Okay, so we got the collection, or the conditions down here of inventory collection.
Yep.
We're going to go to is a member.
Mm-hmm. You just scrolled past it there.
You were already there, huh?
You were there.
So
Chrome.
we don't want Chrome Enterprise, we want Chrome Old, so we're only getting people that have old version of Chrome.
Yep, just the old version of Chrome.
So in this one, it's old version of Chrome, but I don't think we're going to catch people that don't have Chrome at all.
That is true, but I guess here's the thing. I'm imagining we're going to do initial Chrome blowout to everybody, right?
Yeah, make sure everyone has it.
So, you know, when you image a machine, it's now going to have Chrome. So
we've done prep work, you just didn't see it.
yeah, oh, sorry. Okay, so there's a little prep work done. All right, so the scan step we want to run on everybody that comes through here, right? So the next would be the GP result. Now, are there any conditions we want to run on that?
Nope, that one we want to run against every machine that we're running this on, because we want to check all the machines to see if they have the policy applied.
Okay. Now, the uninstall, this is how I built that, guys. Here's, I mean, let's just pop this open really quick. So, uninstall Firefox. If you check this out, guys, all I did was I went into inventory, I right-clicked on it, and I said, build a package. And this is the package it built, and it should have a /s.
That's a question mark.
There's a question mark /s. I shouldn't be typing in front of you. That's a capital S, actually. Okay, make sure you install those silent parameters. It's going to build a package for you. Boom, there it is. And just, yeah, close that one out. Same thing with Opera. I went and found one that was installed in inventory, right-clicked on it. In fact, let's just show them how it's done. So I know for a fact Allen Rails has this. I love Allen Rails. I go up to Applications. There's Opera. I right-click on it, hit the uninstall create package. It's going to take everything that you would normally just run as a remote command, copy it over, and build. There you go. And all I have to do at that point is go in and add the silent parameters. There is an uninstall. You do need a /silent O on that. So
It's so cool.
So that's how those were built, and we tested those, and those worked today. So this, though, so here's the thing. GP result, we don't want, Jordan's, you know, he wants to be nice to everybody, and I really don't want the phone calls, so there's a reason to do this nice. So you want to go in there and make sure that that registry key that you just tattooed exists. So in this case, you go into the registry, if exists.
I think we did software.
Yep, software,
And
fancy
then
pants.
Pants.
Fancy pants. I love the way you type.
Oh,
Is it
got
case sensitive?
Yeah.
Just wondering.
I don't believe it's case sensitive.
My
Noonan,
goodness,
case sensitive there, buddy?
No, the registry key should not be case sensitive.
Okay, so those A's didn't matter.
Okay. All right, then Cornelius Daniel, which we copy and pasted because you are a coward.
I am. I absolutely. No, come on. I just know I can't do it right out the gate. I know I can't.
I mean,
do it.
Jordan, you didn't type it. So. What does that say about both of you?
I'm a well-documented coward. I'm just pointing out that Lex joins. All right,
I know my limitations.
So we want to make sure that it is applied, which I believe was 1 on this one.
When is it true?
Yep.
Okay. So that basically just says, hey, the group policy for Chrome has been applied, so we know Chrome's on there. We're good to go. All right.
And we're going to want to set the same thing for Opera as well.
Ooh, but before you do that, we're going to set another parameter on there.
Ooh.
I don't want to run this on everybody. I only want to run it on anybody who is a member of the Firefox. That's any Firefox.
Okay.
So we're going to pick the Firefox collection, because if Firefox isn't there, waste of time running it, right? Thanks for that. Yep, that was, no one could hear that, man.
I'm
That is
sorry,
a good point.
I was not finding what I was looking for.
Oh, you were busy and I'm
hidden right in
harassing
front of my
you.
face.
Okay, so that's going to take care of that. Again, some logic, you know. Again, there's 2 levels there. So
Yep, absolutely. And so the same thing for Opera.
let's do it the same way.
So just so people know, that's grayed out because since nested package, we're grabbing a different package that already has settings. And we're just basically saying, in this instance, when you run it as a nested, use different settings.
So if I just used the nested package conditions, if I were to go to the uninstall Opera and make that package only able to be run on machines that have Opera, I wouldn't have to do that here.
Nope, that would.
The logic still exists, but we're keeping it in one spot right now. So software, are you going to be able to type that?
Look at that, I'm improving.
Ooh, fancy.
And just to... There, I typed out Cornbelly's Daniel.
Did you really? Okay.
I did.
Was it right, though?
Yeah, copy paste next to
Guess
it.
we'll find out.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
All right.
I'm sorry I doubted you.
I doubted him too. That's not even what is a cornvelius?
I doubted myself.
I believe it's a
thought
name.
It's a name. Cornvelius. We're going to be having cornvelius and potatoes tonight.
I thought it created a nice moment for everyone to make fun of me, and unfortunately it worked.
It worked. Not.
Opportunity lost.
Where's that hug bat? Where's that hug bat?
All right, so
Collection part of Opera.
Yep. And then this should be everything here.
At this point, you want to save the package. What did we name this package?
We haven't named it anything yet.
So
It's
you're
named
channeling me there,
Fancy
right?
Pants Corvelia.
Fancy Pants Chrome or something. I don't know.
A game with the capital. I don't know. I'm going to blame science.
Blaming science?
Math mostly.
You just typed too fast. That shift key didn't come up fast enough.
That's
it, yeah.
Any time that I can blame the mistake on I'm too good at something.
Hey, we have quite a few questions coming in.
Let's hit,
Do we
yeah.
wanna take maybe 1 or 2.
Let's hit a couple and then we'll fire this bad boy off.
Well, howdy, y'all. I have an application that takes 15 to 20 minutes to install. Outlook must be closed during the install because it installs an Outlook add-in. I know how to kill Outlook if it's running, but is there any way to ensure it stays killed? User inadvertently launched Outlook during install. How about preventing a user-initiated shutdown or restart during a deployment? Thanks, Chad B.
So
Okay, so you killed Outlook. The
Killed Outlook,
user's
but
like, I really
then
wanted
clicked on-
Outlook.
yeah.
And they clicked it back on. Can you disable a keyboard or a mouse from PowerShell? I mean, think about it. Boom.
I'm good to say it's possible. I have no idea how you might do that. So
Where's Colby? Is Colby Noonan? Do you know? Can you disable a keyboard and a mouse?
I believe you can actually disable the COM ports that they're running on, but it would be a lot of work.
Be a lot of work.
I mean, I guess you could have a message step that pops up something on the screen that says, "Hey, don't open Outlook,"
Yeah.
and then you're relying on them
Actually reading it, yeah. So, okay, so option 1, figure out a way to disable the keyboard and mouse. Could be a lot of work, but once you've written it, put it in its own thing and you can reference it there.
Yeah, so you could do like the do a while. Basically, if the process shows up, it will go and do terminate the process again, but
you can't run that at the same
That
time.
sounds
It's
really
like
aggressive.
Step 1 versus step 2. When step 1's done, it's not going to...
You would basically need to run one deployment where that just kicks off and
That's all
runs
it
for a
does?
set amount of time, and then another one, and that just seems like that's a lot of guesswork. Then if you're wrong, it could get ugly.
Well, you basically have a process running every, 5 seconds. It's a 5-second interval. It's just trying to look for it and kill it.
I can see a lot of... Yeah,
like
that could
you said, rename the exe or just delete the icon off their desktop.
There you go. Move the beehive.
Through obscurity, yes.
You can't find it if you move the beehive.
Unfortunately, on that one, there's not that I can think of a way to...
Here's the thing, right? Unless you can disable the keyboard and mouse in step 1, do your install step 2, re-enable the keyboard and mouse in step 3. Yeah. As soon as you exit step 1, there's nothing in the background running trying to kill Outlook, right? Mm-hmm. So unless, I guess you would, I have no idea. There's not a real clean way to do that.
I mean,
wait till they're home. Yeah. Wait till they're not in the office, maybe.
Yeah, not in their office, or do they have
rename the icon so they don't know what it is? Move it, Yeah.
Do they have to be logged in? Because if it can run while they're logged off, you can just have a condition where it runs against the collection has currently logged on, and that way you're only running against people that aren't currently logged in. You just have to run it more times, I guess. But.
That's a stretch. I don't know.
That's
all right, you're stumped. Drink.
Yeah.
Stumped? Drink?
Yep.
Okay.
I can't. I'm empty.
Empty.
Oh.
You had a lot today. I'm impressed. You can't say you suffered from the Lexport today. What else
So
we
we got
got?
another question?
Dear Lex and Jordan, we have a few applications installed in a user's local profile. Username varies. How can we use wildcards to uninstall these with one concise uninstall package? Thanks, Kathleen F.
Kathleen.
So you can't just do an uninstall because it's only on the local machine?
So it's probably installed per local user, right?
Yep.
So you're logged on a machine and you have it, but I log on the machine when you're not there and I don't have it. So if they run that uninstall package when I'm logged on, it's not going to see, so you would have to, I imagine you'd have to walk through the user's profiles using PowerShell to find out what's out there and then run the uninstall. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, so if you know the uninstall string for it, I guess if they don't have to be logged on for you to do it, you can basically run it against, and then you can call the path where it's CU users / and then asterisk, and then it will grab all of the users from there, and then that'll iterate through all of the users and do the install. But if they have to be logged on, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Looks like Jason has an idea here.
Colby actually brought up a good point. Take a look at the uninstall Chrome per user package. That would probably give them at least down the right road.
Oh, uninstall Chrome per user. Nice. Looks like we've done something like that.
I think that was most likely Chris.
Most likely, Chris. So it's going to work?
Yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work.
I didn't do it. Jordan didn't do it. It's going to work. All right, so we named it Fancy Pants. All right.
It is saved.
And so at this point,
If we deploy it once, then we just want to choose.
let's just choose anybody who's got an old version of Chrome. And
Quite
a
a
handful of them.
Yeah.
Let's not do them all. There you go. And I do know Alan Rails and Beth do have like Opera and Firefox, so that'll be perfect.
We just run against those 5.
Yeah, let's run it.
Okay.
Now, okay, before you kick it off, do you think it's going to work? We built this live, man.
I am hopeful.
60% of the time, my stuff works every time.
If we based it on all the test runs this morning, I am less hopeful.
Less hopeful?
But I feel like I'm better since then.
The good thing about it, though, is if it does fail, we're going to show you guys quickly how to troubleshoot. So, well, that's looking promising so far.
All right, let's see. I actually don't even know which of those computers have the policy applied or not. If they're Windows 10, then yes.
Yes? Boy, that's a good question. So there's a few things we probably should have checked before we knocked this on out.
Oh, I'm sure we're fine.
Yeah. We do know Alan Rails and Beth do have it. That's the ones we were testing on this morning.
Yep.
So now, are there any other, okay, writing to a file, reading from a file is probably one of the best. We got one that failed.
It's just if you want to keep going with everything, I'll take a look at.
Oh, okay. So, again, reading from files is something we don't natively do in deploy. So you use your PowerShell, makes the list, it reads through it, finds the conditions you want. And again, I like tattooing the registry because it goes right where I want it. It's nice, it's short. I don't have to go open a file or look for a file. But again, if you prefer looking for files, drop a file, do your file condition and look for that. And you're pretty much off to the races at that point. So again, start it with the PowerShell and then use your conditions and your scans and your dynamic collections, and that should take care of a lot of stuff.
So
wow.
Council Rick has just failed to install
Okay.
Chrome, and it looks like this one failed on uninstall Firefox for some reason. It returned an error code on uninstall. But we have 3 successes.
So 60% of the time,
Yep.
it works every time.
So as you see, this one, it installed Chrome, it did the scan, it did the GP result, and
Okay.
then it did not attempt to uninstall because it looks like GP result came back with it did not have the policy applied.
Good.
But if we come to Alan Rails,
So I'm going to grab that and drag it.
so is that not run due to registry condition again. So apparently our policy is what's
not?
what's failing here. And then third successful bird person, where step not run due to collections. So this one is registry and then the collection. So unfortunately, it looks like where we're failing is our group policy hasn't applied to any of the computers.
Wow. Okay. So GP force, GP update force. So again, we could probably do we have a remote to Alan Rails or one of the other machines? And we can go take a look at what's in the registry there. Or just go to Beth. We can take a look at Beth.
Okay.
So again, this is the testing portion of things. Surprising, we actually did this right once this morning. We just were not able to.
Oh no, it worked.
It ran. It did exactly what we asked it to do. Oh, there's fancy pants.
And it is set to 0.
Set to 0.
So it just came back at 0. So it just seems that the policy didn't apply. We must not have hit any Windows 10 machines in our random grab, except for the one that failed to install Chrome.
There you
I
go.
think Council Rick's probably would have worked.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? I mean, I hate to go out on a note like this, but at least we know why this didn't work. We could GP force update and retry this, and we'll get different results. So.
And it's time for the PDQ speed round. How can I set a deployment to occur at the same time across multiple time zones? Thanks, /Q.
Guns N' Roses forever. Same time zones.
So I think if I remember correctly, and Jason, correct me wrong, but if you have central server, then it's all going to be based on the time of the central server, not on the.
Yeah, that's
not
correct.
on the client.
So if I'm in New York and I'm deploying centrally and Pacific, right? If you want them all to run at the same time, you're going to have one scheduled, with the hour designation. You have to have a couple of different schedules so that the ones in Central Time run at the same time as the one in Pacific Time.
Yes. So if you had.
So the between East Coast and say Mountain Time, it'd be 2 hour difference. You'd have to have another schedule.
Yeah. So just different schedules based on time zone, and then have maybe a custom variable where your computers are a collection for what time zone they're in.
Yeah. There you go. I like that. That's a good way to do it. What else we got?
All right.
Dear Lex and Jordan, is it possible to deploy PowerShell 5.0 to Windows 2012 with PDQ? Thanks in advance, Michael R.
So we do have a package for PowerShell 5.0. I know that there is a I want to say MF, but it doesn't feel right. WMF requirement for Windows 12. So as long as your Windows 12 has been updated to having the WMF required for 5, I should work without issue.
PowerShell right there.
Yep. Oh, it looks like we already have with WMF in there. So the built-in package, I think, should work for you. Yep.
What else we got?
And our final speed round question. When I ran SCCM, I would utilize PSAppDeploy to deploy a lot of programs. This way, I could let PowerShell handle all the logic instead of having to mess with MSI properties or mess with converting an EXE to MSI. Would this work with PDQ Deploy as well? Thanks, Jeremy O.
I'm not familiar with PSAppDeploy. Is that PowerShell app deploy?
Oh, yeah, it's not something I'm actually familiar with myself.
Noonan, what do you think, man?
I think it's part of the sysinternal set, like it's PSExec.
Oh, really?
Like
Oh, okay. Sysinternals. That's I'm gonna have to drink to that. I'm stumped, guys. I just don't know the PS app. I mean, I guess if it's kicking off PowerShell, I mean, I just run the PowerShell from deploy personally because we've got such a good way to deal with it. So,
yeah, without knowing exactly what it is or having dealt with it, we'll have to assume we can use PowerShell just fine from deploy. So if you have the logic in PowerShell, it should work. But I haven't. I have no great knowledge on how to set that up, though.
Yeah. Well, guys, appreciate you watching today. Logic, conditions, PowerShell.
PowerShell, all the things.
PowerShell all. Thanks for watching. I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan.
Catch y'all later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Peter G. and Chad B., winners of PDQ swag. Please send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.